Good morning everybody, it's Thursday the 14th of May and we'll do another wee lesson on trinomials. But again, firstly, I've given you those questions to do and I want to go through and check them with you to make sure that you know what you're doing. Okay, question number 1, check your answers, and if you get any wrong then watch the video and make sure that you're okay with them. So x squared minus 5x's plus 6. So we do 1 times plus 6. We're looking for factors of plus 6. So factors of 6 are 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. Now, if it is positive, then we've got two factors that are the same. So we've either got a plus 1 or plus 6, or we've got a minus 1 and a minus 6. And for that one, we could have minus 2 and minus 3. So we're looking for something that gives me minus 5. So that gives me 7, that gives me minus 7, that gives me 5. That pair there gives me minus 5. So the factors that I'm looking for are minus 2 and minus 3. So we then split this middle term into minus 2x and minus 3x. So that gives me 1x squared, which is just x squared, minus 2x's, minus 3x's plus 6. Break the expression down the middle. Take out your common factor from the first part of the list, which is x bracket x minus 2. Take out your common factor from this list. Now, you would say the common factor there might be 3, but this bracket has got to be x minus 2. So, take that first term, x times what gives me minus 3x? It's minus 3. Now check that's okay, so minus 3 times x is minus 3x, minus 3 times minus 2 is plus 6. So be careful with that. Right, so repeated bracket is x minus 2, and the other bracket is made up from that x minus 3. Question 2, 1 times 4 gives me plus 4. Factors of 4 are 1 and 4, 2 and 2. I know it's positive, so both factors have got to have the same sign. So plus 1, plus 4, minus 1, minus 4, 2 and 2, minus 2 and minus 2. I'm looking for minus 5. 1 and 4 gives me plus 5. Minus 1 plus minus 4 gives me minus 5. So that's the pair of factors. So I've got x squared, and that becomes minus 1x minus 4x's plus 4. Split the list down the middle, take the common factor out the first half as x bracket x minus 1. I'm going to write down that x minus 1 because I know that that's what the second bracket's got to be. What's in front of this x? What do I multiply x by to get minus 4x? It's minus 4. So therefore, we've got repeated bracket is x minus 1, and the other bracket is x minus 4. Okay, next one, question 3. 1 times 2 is plus 2. Factors of 2 are 1 and 2, but also the pair that goes with that is minus 1 and minus 2. We're looking for minus 3. It's obviously that pair of factors. So I've got x squared minus 1x minus 2x's plus 2. Split it down the middle. Take out your highest common factor, which is x. So it's x bracket x minus 1. This has also got to be x minus 1 in this second part here. So what's in front of the 2? What do I multiply x by to get minus 2x? I multiply it by minus 2. So therefore, repeated bracket x minus 1, and the other bracket is made up with those two terms, which is x minus 2. Question 4, we're looking for factors of plus 9. So 1 times 9 is 9, minus 1 times minus 9 is also plus 9, 3 3s are 9, and minus 3 times minus 3 is 9. So we're looking for minus 6. The factors that give me minus 6 are those two factors there, minus 3 and minus 3. So that gives me x squared minus 3x's minus 3x's plus 9. Split it down the middle. Highest common factor is x, so it's x bracket x minus 3. I know this second bracket has got to be x minus 3 as well. What have I multiplied x by here? I've got to multiply it by minus 3, so it must be minus 3. Right, so repeated bracket is x minus 3, but also that one also gives me x minus 3, and that's it for the factor. Okay, next one, question 5. X squared minus 9x plus 20. So we're looking for factors of plus 20. It's positive, so we've either got two factors that are positive or two factors that are negative. I've listed all the factors down there. So we end up with x squared. We want the pair that gives me minus 9x. So that's minus 4x's minus 5x's. And I've got the plus 20 to put in. Break the list down the middle. So when I break it down the middle, take out the highest common factor, which is x, giving me x minus 4. I know this second bracket has got to be x minus 4 because it's got to be the same as that one. What have I multiplied x by to get minus 5x? I've multiplied it by minus 5. So therefore I get x minus 4 times x minus 5. And again, it doesn't matter what order your brackets are in. Okay, question 6. I have listed down the factors. It's 1 times 12 is plus 12. So 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4, and the negative pairs as well. So we're looking for a pair of those factors that give me minus 8. So that's 13, that's plus 8, that's plus 7, that's minus 13. There is minus 8 sitting in there. So it's minus 2 and minus 6. So we've got x squared minus 2x's minus 6x's plus 12. Break your list down the middle. Take out the highest common factor from the first half, which is x. So it's x bracket x minus 2. I know this second bracket has also got to be x minus 2. So I'm going to write it in. And what have I multiplied that x by to get minus 6x? I've multiplied it by minus 6. So we get x minus 6 times x minus 2. Question 7, we're wanting 1 times plus 7 is plus 7. 7 is a prime number, so one pair of factors, which is 1 and 7. But when we take into consideration negative ones, we could have negative 1 and negative 7. Okay, split that to give me x squared. I want the pair that gives me minus 8. It's got to be minus 1x and minus 7x's. So if I split that middle term, I get that. Break it down the middle. Gives me x bracket x minus 1. And I need x minus 1 as a second bracket. What have I multiplied x by to get minus 7x? Minus 7. So when I write that down, repeated bracket is x minus 1. And the first bracket is x minus 7. Okay, question 8. It's factors of plus 18. I've listed them all down. Which pair gives me minus 9? And it's obviously that pair there. So that is equal to x squared minus 3x's minus 6x's plus 18. Split it down the middle. So we get x bracket x minus 3. And that bracket's repeated, x minus 3. What have I multiplied x by to get minus 6x's? So obviously minus 6. So repeated bracket, x minus 3. And the bracket from there and there is x minus 6. Question 9, we're looking for factors of 42. I've listed them all down. And we're looking for minus 13. The pair that gives me minus 13 is minus 6 and minus 7. So that gives me x squared minus 6x's minus 7x's plus 42. Half the list down the middle. Highest common factor is x. X bracket x minus 6. I know this bracket's got to be x minus 6 as well. So what's the common factor? What do I multiply x by to get minus 7x? It's minus 7. So repeated bracket is x minus 6. And the bracket I make up from there and there is x minus 7. Okay, I just did question 10 as question 9, so I'll go back and do this one. So we're looking for factors of plus 20. So 20 is 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 3 doesn't divide into it, 4 and 5, and then 5 and 4, so that's repeated. Now if it's positive, both factors have got to have the same sign, so 1 and 20 or minus 1 and minus 20, minus 2, minus 10, minus 4, minus 5. Right, so we're looking for minus 12. It's obviously that pair of factors there. So x squared minus 2x's minus 10x's plus 20. That is equal to, take out the common factor, x bracket x minus 2. I know that's x minus 2. And I've got to multiply it by minus 10. So therefore, x minus 10 times x minus 2. Right, hopefully you've got them all correct. Now, see this wee bit here? There's a way of avoiding how to figure out what that common factor is. See if you put the biggest number in here first, then you'll not need to worry about taking out that negative. Okay, so maybe when we're going to mix ones, we'll think about that. Right, so lesson for today, again, more factorising, but a wee bit different again. So here we've got, all the other ones I've done have all ended in pluses at the end. Okay, this is ending in a -6. So I've got 1 times -6. I'm looking for factors of -6. So what I'll do is I'll think of just factors of 6. So 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. If I've got to get a -6, then one of those numbers has got to be negative. So -1 times 6 is -6. Or -2 times 3 is -6. Now that minus sign, because one's got to be negative, one's got to be positive, could be on the other number. So it could be that version. So wee bit different from the ones we've done. So if it's negative, one factor's negative, one factor's positive. Okay, so we're looking for -5, and the pair that gives me -5 is +1 -6. So everything else is the same after that. So we've got x squared, and I'm going to write the -6x first, and then +1x, and take the -6, split it down the middle, and I've got x bracket x -6, and I need this bracket to be x -6 as well. So what's the common factor? It's just +1. Okay, so if the bracket's the same, it's just +1. Right, so therefore, repeated bracket is x -6, and the bracket I make up from there and there is x +1. Okay, so the only difference is if it's a minus, you have got one factor that's negative and one that's positive. Okay, so you list your factors as normal, and then you go through it and you make one negative, and then you make the other one negative. Right, this one here, we're looking for factors of -27. So same scenario here, we've got a minus number. Ignore it just now. Factors of 27 are 1 and 27. 2 doesn't divide into it. 3 divides into it. 3 9s are 27. Okay, so we've got our factors here, but because it's negative, one of them's got to be minus, and one's got to be plus. One's got to be minus, one's got to be plus. Now, switch the minus sign around, so that could be 1 and -27, or it could be 3 and -9. I'm looking for -6. That would give me -1 plus 27 is 26. 1 minus 27 is -26. -3 plus 9 is +6. And right at the end here, 3 minus 9 is -6. So that's it right at the end. Okay, so we're going to split that middle term. I'm going to write this -9 first. So -9x plus 3x minus 27. So when you're doing them, don't worry about the negative sign. Take the biggest actually numerical number. Take that first. Okay, split it down the middle. So I've got x bracket x -9. And I want the highest common factor out of there. So if you look at 3 and -27, it's +3, which would give you x -9. So repeated bracket is x -9, and the other bracket is x +3. And that's happened fully factorised. Okay, another 2, and then I'll give you an exercise to do. Right, so for this one here, we're looking for factors of -5. So 5's a prime number, so it is only 1 and 5, but because it's -5, one of the factors has got to be negative and one's got to be positive. So that's the only two scenarios we have. So -1 plus 5 is +4. That's no use, I'm looking for -4. 1 minus 5 is -4, so that's the correct pair of factors. So I've got x squared, and I'm going to put the -1 first, -5x plus 1x -5. Split it down the middle. It doesn't matter which one you put first, but this might be a wee bit easier. Right, so that gives me x bracket x -5, and highest common factor there looks as though there's no common factor, so it becomes +1 times x -5. Okay, repeated bracket is x -5, and the other one is x +1. Okay, I've done lots of them with x's, but I'm going to factorise this one. It doesn't matter what the letter is, you stick with the letter. So 1 times -7 is -7. Factors of 7 are 1 and 7. It's a prime number. It's negative, so one of the factors has got to be negative. So that's the two possibilities we have. Which one gives me -6? It's that one there. So we've got r squared. Now, ignoring the negative sign, I'm going to take the biggest number when we ignore the negative sign. Minus 7 is obviously smaller than 1, but ignore the negative sign and make the 7 the one that comes first. So minus 7r plus 1r minus 7. Break it down the middle. Take out a common factor of r. So it's r minus 7. And there's no common factor there. So when there's no common factor, it's plus 1. And that's r minus 7. So make up your brackets. So repeated bracket is r minus 7. Other bracket is r plus 1. And that's it, fully factorised. Okay, I'm just giving you 4 to do tonight. Okay, we've done quite a lot. You've done about 20 so far. So we'll do those 4. I will come back to them tomorrow. Okay, just persevere with these and work hard.